And our second school is Dougherty Valley High School, which is located in San Ramon. And so, for a brief introduction on Dougherty Valley, one key point for them is that they do have a vast amount of club choices for students. As you can see in the extracurricular section, they have over 150 clubs and then 22 sports. They also were the only school out of the five that we're talking about today that saw an increase in UCLA admission rates. As you can see, down here at the bottom for 2019, it was at 10.98, and then it went up by about a percentage to 11.74% in 2020. Rounding out their brief introduction and information, their teacher to student ratio is 1 to 25, and then 90% of teachers have a 3+ years of teaching experience. And then lastly, for UC Berkeley admission, it did go down a little bit, not as much as Amador, but about 5% from 23.44 to about 18%. Now, for this graph here, which is where do Dougherty Valley students go after graduation? As you can see, both UC and out-of-state universities do attract the most Dougherty Valley graduates. 29% of students from the class of 2021 did go to the University of California universities, and then 28% did go to out-of-state schools. And then you can see here for that third category was actually community colleges at 24%. Now, obviously, nothing wrong with going to a community college, it's just personal preference. When we did look into the database, there was about 14 to 15% of the students who chose a community college at Dougherty Valley High School they went to Diablo Valley College, which was rated at 25th best community college in the state. So that is very nice. But it is a key point because when we get into our other school that showed a graph like this, it was definitely a lot lower. So just a key point to notice. And then 12% of the students from the class of 2021 went to ACSU. Now for Dougherty Valley's information on their clubs, on top of the standard popular clubs such as that are usually at most high schools in the Bay Area, such as American Red Cross, the National Honor Society, Mock Trial, Future Business Leaders of America, Math Olympiad, etc. Dougherty Valley definitely offers an abundance of unique and interesting clubs for students to participate in. Like I said, there's about 150 of them, so we can't talk about all of them today. So what I do have is a link right here to the whole list at www.dvhigh.net/student clubs. That will take you to Dougherty Valley's club page, and then right on the right-hand side, there will be a link to their Google Sheets page, which will show a detailed list of every club name, the teacher that runs it, the student officer, and then a brief description of the club. So here we have 3 clubs that we wanted to talk about today that we thought were very unique and helpful. So the first one is called Code for Fun. And essentially what this club is that it promotes the exploration of all things relating to coding and computer science. Projects are encouraged to be group-based and are encouraged to be presented to the rest of the club once completed. And prior experience in coding and computer science is not required, since there's definitely club officers and tutors to help members along the way. So essentially this club is meant to try and get students interested in computer science or coding, get their foot in the door, create it as like a hobby that's fun. It's definitely no pressure because it's not a class, it's not graded, and they hope to encourage this interest to have them pursue a career or a degree in coding / computer science. And they definitely have a lot of other clubs that are similar to Code for Fun. So a couple other ones are Computer Science Club, C++ and Applications Club, and DV Hack Club. Now for our next club, it is called Future Medical Specialists. Now essentially what this club does is that it does bring in, they bring in medical specialists from fields such as pediatrics, cardiology, as well as pre-med and med students. They bring them in, and they essentially what they do is they will provide Dougherty Valley High School students in this club information and have them gain knowledge in the field of medicine and help them make connections early on. The club also offers volunteer opportunities around the Bay Area to allow students to gain hands-on experience. So one of the main goals for this club is to get students who are interested in the field of medicine or pre-med, med school, to get that hands-on experience very early before college, so that they are ahead of their peer group and hopefully make some connections before college as well. And they also have a couple other clubs that are similar to this called the Medical Research Club, Neuroscience Club, and Future Physicians of America. Now, for our last club here that we're going to talk about that we thought was very interesting and helpful is called Stories Are Us. And essentially what this club does is that it collaborates with younger elementary school classes, and they create these storybooks based on the children in the elementary school's ideas. So the club members will essentially ask these younger students for their illustrative input, and then students will work to compile virtual storybooks that can be shared with the parents of these younger students. And it's great for high school students to gain volunteer hours and experience working with younger children. So I would say if your student has an interest in becoming like a teacher or a counselor or any kind of field that is involving working with children, this is a great club to get a good start on and gain some experience. So that's just a couple introduction on some of their clubs. And yes, we have that link there so that you can view the full list for yourself. Now, lastly, for Dougherty Valley High School's academics, one key point, like we said, what I'll say right now is that they do have a high percentage of students who are college ready in both English and math. When you look at their CASP, 96% were college ready for English, which is very, very, very high. And then 88% were college ready in math, which is still the highest out of the 5 that we're talking about today. So according to the CASP, the students who are going to this high school come out college ready for these 2 subjects. For another key point is that they did have the same exact number of national merit semifinalists from 2020 to 2021. It both sits at 40. And then for the rest of their academics, their ACT scores did go up by a little bit over 1 point from 29.75 to 31. And then their SAT score in 2020 was 1390. And then for AP tests, 85% were 3 or higher, and then 31% scored a 5. And then lastly, for their AP classes, same amount as Almonte Valley, definitely a good amount at 35. So now that we're done talking about Dougherty Valley High School, let's move on to our third school.